C'est peut-être très sérieux, mes amis. Bienvenue à Football Therapy avec moi, your host, Jan. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing really well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News again. That's right, the daily series, sometimes twice, maybe thrice daily, where I reflect on what's being said about the Blues, giving you my opinion on it. More importantly, asking for yours. Wesley Fofana special. Klaxon. Superstar young French defender who I loved. I loved watching this kid play for Leicester. I was like, how have they found another superstar, brought for another top tier player? This kid looks like he's built to dominate Premier League football. He just looks so appropriate, and he's got an attitude that really suits the game at the top level. Of course, he had that horrific leg break, but it looked like a clean break if I remember that horrible footage. And players make full recoveries from this situation now. They've got financial problems. They may be forced to sell. Does he dream of Chelsea? Because there's a certain post I'm going to reference in this video. Thank you for joining me. Please do consider dropping a like. Please do drop a like. It takes a second. Click, and you're welcome to subscribe if you want to, mate. Should you choose to subscribe, though, make sure you hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Ooh. Alright, mate, where's Fofana? Plays for Leicester City. 21 years old, French lad. We, of course, have done plenty of business with Leicester before. We've got a relationship with them. We bought N'Golo Kante for like 30 million. We bought Danny Drinkwater for like 35 million. Obviously, Karma, after getting such a good deal for N'Golo Kante. Of course, we've bought Ben Chilwell as well, who's been an excellent acquisition also. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this post from potential friend of Wesley Fofana. I got this on Twitter from CFCPYS at. He says he's not sure who the guy's account is, but he's been pictured at Saint Etienne, of course, the club Fofana used to play at, and Leicester games, and Fofana follows this guy. So you would assume they are friends. Especially if he follows him. Not only does he literally follow him around as a footballer, he follows him back on social media. And this is said photo. Let's do a transition. So, Nico 25, depuis petite façon. Basically, it says, since you were a kid. Or ever since you were a kid. Ever since you were a kid. And he's in a Chelsea top. Dun, 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 baby girl, make what you will of that. But that, to me, we can speculate that his friend is going, ever since you're a kid, Chelsea. Oh, what timing. The stories and links and whatever, the headlines all linking Fofana to Chelsea. Chelsea want a defender. Chelsea want good defenders. This kid is a good defender. If you said to me, Jan, right, you can have De Ligt, you can have Koundé, you can have whoever, even Koulibaly, I'd say Fofana, because of his age. Koulibaly's obviously world class. This kid, I think personally, I'd bet the farm on being an absolute monster in the Prem, and I would love it. I absolutely would love it. I know I've been saying this for a long time on the channel, and I'm a bit of a stand for Wes Fofana, but this kid is super, super good. And me seeing him in a Chelsea shirt from his mate's post saying, ever since you were a little kid, to me, that makes me think, okay, he wants to join Chelsea. I mean, why wouldn't he want to join Chelsea from Leicester? There's no disrespect to Leicester. They've done wonderful things. Their new ownership has been great. But they have financial fair play issues with their current ownership, which might force them to sell. Usually they sell like a big player. I don't think they did last season. They did obviously Maguire, then Chilwell. They've done that before with Kante and stuff. They often sell off a big one, but like they hadn't done. And there is speculation or reports, and I've heard this on like football podcasts, but I didn't really make too much sense of it. But we're going to cite an article from the Metro and read up on this a little bit more. So it starts with not the most positive line. So we're gonna push our way through this and then hopefully see the positives. Leicester City are demanding at least £70 million if Chelsea wish to sign their star defender Wesley Fofana this summer, according to reports. It's not the best start. it's not the best start. The Foxes may be forced to sell big-name players amid fears over financial fair play, with goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel agreeing to join French club side Nice, which is pretty wild, actually, on Tuesday, and midfielder Yuri Tielemans being strongly linked with a move to Arsenal. Now, it's pretty wild no one's picked up Yuri Tielemans yet, because he's really, really highly rated, and because Leicester just aren't getting the bids they want for him. Arsenal will link with him, but they're not coming in. If they see an opportunity here to keep Yuri Tielemans, but to sell Fofana for maybe not 70 million. If we can get him for 60 million, I'm going to sign that off myself. I'll sign it off myself. I'll say, you know what? You get like late 20s Virgil van Dijk or whatever for 75 million. This lot sold Harry Maguire for, let's not talk about that unholy amount of money. But a young defender like Wesley Fofana with the attitude of himself that he's got and the displays he's already put in the Premier League, he's widely regarded as an absolute monster of a prospect, and indeed already done performances. Leicester are currently the only Premier League club who have not completed a signing this summer, despite boss Brendan Rodgers calling for a, quote, healthy shake-up of his squad in February and need to sell players before they can buy anyone. You've got the manager, who's a good manager, by the way, for Leicester, Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, he was being linked with United and maybe City, and do you know what I mean? Should they get rid of Pep? Really highly regarded manager, so they want to keep him and they want to keep him happy, and he's saying we need a shake-up, and they do, because they had been stinking out the gaff. Their form tails off in seasons and stuff, and if they're not getting anywhere near the bids they want for Yuri Tielemans, if they can make a big chunk of cash for Wesley Fofana, maybe they can be tempted. Fofana is one player that has been who has strongly impressed at the King Power Stadium, as the 24-year-old centre-back has attracted interest from Chelsea, although Leicester are keen to keep him, and the deal is said to be extremely difficult. He joined Leicester in 2020 from Ligue 1 side Saint Etienne for a whopping 36.5 million. So off the bat, that is a big transfer fee for a Saint Etienne centre-back, and he would have been 19. So to buy a teenager for £37 million, Leicester from Saint Etienne, that is pretty wild. But you know what? It's wild because he's an absolute colossus of a player. I'm telling you that now for free. He's played 50 games for Foxes. Wow, that's quite a lot considering the injury, across all competitions, and he's signed a long-term contract in March, which lasts until 2027. So there lieth the problem. He's literally only just signed a new long-term deal, a new 5-year deal that's just been signed. So they've protected their investment there after he's played so well. The France U21 international, which, by the way, not for long. He's just literally because he's 21. I think, especially if he goes to Chelsea, he'll be straight in the France squad. International helped Leicester win the 2021 FA Cup. Oh, I can't remember who they beat then. Oh yeah, they beat Chelsea. And they beat Chelsea in the final, and it's believed the Foxes won even more than £70 million as they wait their first approach for the star man. This just reeks of David Moyes talking about Declan Rice, isn't it? Rodgers is a big fan of Fofana, and why wouldn't he be? He's an absolute baller. And with less than 2 weeks until the Leicester Premier League season opener again. Let's start that again. And with less than 2 weeks until Leicester's Premier League opener against Brentford, it would be a massive blow for the club for the new season to improve on their 8th place finish last term. Yes, we'll get on that in a minute. Chelsea, meanwhile, have already signed Koulibaly for 33 million. Good business from Napoli after losing Rudiger, Andreas Christensen, and Real Madrid, and Barca, respectively. Chelsea obviously get started on the 6th, where we go away to Goodison to play... I can't talk today, mate. To play Frank Lampard's Everton. Look, it would be a big blow, but if they're not allowed, not allowed because of financial fair play, if they can't sign new players without selling, if Chelsea wave £60 million underneath the noses of the Foxes, will they sniff that up and be like, yes, please? Because I tell you what, ever since he was a petit garçon, ever since he was a small... Chelsea, honestly, this is a little bit of a passion project, this video of mine, because I would love this player. Like, in the same way, right, I said to you guys, I won't cry for like Rafinha and Koundé if they go to Barcelona. If we were linked with Fofana and we looks like, you've got bloody, like, maybe not Fabrizio Romano giving here you goes, but you got Ben Jacobs, Matt Law, other reputable sources saying that, the deal was done, like they were saying for Koundé. And they said that about Fofana, and then Fofana turned up at Barcelona. Trust me, I would be feeling a lot differently than I do in terms of how I feel about the Koundé deal. Yeah, I'd feel a lot worse. So if Chelsea somehow get this deal done, I will feel really positive about it. But it's going to be tricky. It will cost a lot of money. Chelsea still have to make sales and stuff. But if we somehow replaced Christensen and Rudiger with Koulibaly and Wesley Fofana, if you said that to me, but at the end of the season, I'd be like, yes, please. Of course, it would cost us about 100 million, it sounds like, when after losing those two for free, which obviously is very frustrating. But in, the average age would be brought right down, because what's Christensen? He's got to be late 20s, or a couple of years younger than Rudiger. Granted, Koulibaly's senior, but, 21-year-old Fofana. And yes, many of you will be like, well, we've got young, talented defenders in Colwell and stuff. Yeah, great, that's fine. Thiago Silva and Koulibaly are in their 30s. Nothing wrong with having the likes of Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill for many years to come, even if one will cost a lot of money. I really would like this. I think, we'll do a bit, if the story develops and rolls a little bit more, we'll do a deep dive on his stats. But yeah, personally, I'd be very interested in this. I wanted to update the story because of, the insight of the financial fair play issues with Leicester City and how they might need to sell a player like that, especially if they can't flog Tielemans for the money they want. And the fact how there's that social media post inferring that this kid, ever since he was young, at least watched and admired Chelsea, even if the French kid wasn't like a diehard Chelsea fan. It always helps, and it always feels good to see that. What do you guys think? I can't talk, man. Literally, I'm not even wearing my dental aligners. I've just taken them out. I think that's what it is. I've taken these aligners out of my mouth, and I'm trying to recalibrate to the shape in my mouth's now different, and I'm struggling. But let me know what you think about Wesley Fofana. Comment down below. Start the conversation up. I'm really keen on getting the collective fan opinion on this player because, personally, I love it. See you soon. Peace.